Investment advice provided on the following program is on an individual basis. Listeners should not consider today's discussion as a recommendation for any investment and should carefully evaluate before investing. This is Your Real Estate Today on News Talk 1110 W.
Hello and welcome to the show, Your Real Estate Today. It's Paul Jameson, your host with the Jameson family of companies. That's Jameson Realty, Jameson Property Management, and Jameson Property Investments. Hello. I'm here with Sandy Dickinson with Summit Funding. We are excited to have you with us again, Sandy, today for the mortgage update. So we're going to get to you in just a minute, and there's a lot going on. So excited to hear about that. But let's start out the show today, as we always do. First of all, if you're a new listener, we want you to know for the next hour, you're going to be listening to information about real estate, whether it's your mortgage, whether it's your home, things to do to your home, what's going on related to real estate. We're excited to share those things with you and looking forward to doing that with you. So let's get started. All right. So what did I learn this week? I always learn something. All right. First of all, I learned a little Halloween trivia, even though may not be Halloween week when you hear this, but do you know that the first jack-o'-lanterns were made out of turnips? Now tell me how you would carve a turnip and put a candle in it. I'm just saying, if you try that at home and want to send me a picture, I'll do something with it. But anyway, how about that? All right, so other Halloween trivia. Here's another one that just kind of blows my mind too. 50% of Americans decorate their home for Halloween. 50%. Ooh, that's a lot. Wow. That's a lot. Okay, now back to the real estate. 4 out of 10 people want to buy a home because of the pandemic. 4 out of 10 want to buy a home because of the pandemic. 3 out of the 10 that were polled, and again, all these statistics for some reason aren't going to add up to 100%. It was really strange. 3 out of the 10 for extended family. 45% wanted additional space for their kids. 2/3 were excited about a spare bedroom. 63%, and it's gonna fit into our subject today about outdoor living space. 63% wanted enough room to have an enhanced deck outside or a patio. 56% wanted an office. And I'll add in there schoolroom. And when do they want to do it? Drum roll. The next 6 to 12 months. Woot, woot. If you got a home to sell, more than 100% of the population has a plan, according to these percentages and statistics. 4 out of 10 people want to move, but hundreds of percent of them have reasons above and beyond that statistic. So I don't know how they did the math, but I like the news anyway. So 4 out of 10 of your neighbors, if you don't like them, hopefully they'll move. So there's another positive. Yay! How about that? That's good for me and you, Sandy. That's a good news. All right. Love it. Next. Love it. Permitting. Okay. Permitting matters. Changes you make to your house without a permit, when they are changes such as moving plumbing, changing electrical, moving walls, is a real big deal. if you don't pull a permit because you want to save $200 or $300, let me just tell you, when you're ready to sell, it's going to cost you thousands. And if you have a claim, an insurance claim, and they can find that you have unpermitted renovations that should have been permitted, your insurance company, air quote, may decide not to pay that claim. Saving $300 can cost you thousands. So think about that as you look at that. Also, you want to know what else matters? The quality of the paint you use. The quality of the paint you use. Why, Paul, would you say that? Paint is paint. No, it's not. The quality of the paint you use. Do you guys remember years and years ago that really, really expensive paint that was made by Ralph Lauren that came in a can, and it was like you had to get a home equity line to pay for it? But then when you opened up the can and you started applying that paint, it was so thin you had to also apply like 2 million coats in order to get the treatment that you wanted. Thin paint, watery paint, paint with an inconsistent sheen, or a paint that you can't clean, it matters. It makes a difference. The way that it covers, the way that it's used. There's some really good quality paints. Don't chintz on the paint. Paint is the cheapest thing you can do to change a house. Well, not the cheapest, but cheaper. Okay? Don't chintz on the paint. Paint matters. All right? And who the painter is too matters, but we'll talk about that later. All right? So, well, no, we're not. We're going to talk about it in a second. The paint job matters. So, by the way, unless you're like super talented, you know, a little bit of that blue tape can make a difference on your trim, on your ceiling. You know, your cell phone scaring you, or somebody coming up behind you and scaring you while you're painting a seam can make a big difference. So do a paint job and also do it professionally using tape if you can. Okay. All right, Sandy. Mortgage update.
Okay, so interesting fact that we've just reached another purchase loan size record high. And we are now at $373,000.
Wow.
As an average loan size.
That's craziness.
I know it is. It is.
Wow. I like it.
Mortgage apps are up 1.7%, but purchases were flat, pretty flat. They were up 0.2%. But year over year, they're up 24%. And refis are up 3% this week, but 80% year over year. So 67% of what we're originating is our refis. And the rates are about 1% lower than they were last year. We've seen just a tiny bit improvement over the last day or so. So we're hoping it's going in the right direction. We don't really have to worry about the stimulus pack in October, but in November, that will be back. So we'll keep an eye on that. That could cause the rates to rise a little bit if they pass it.
Okay. Well, I mean, there's still so many positives right now in the marketplace, Sandy. I'd be surprised if we'd see much of a change. Would you?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
It's a great market. Great to buy, great to sell.
If somebody wants to talk to you, Sandy, and explore options related to buying or refinancing, how do they get you?
They call my cell at 704-577-0144.
577-0144, Sandy Dickinson at Summit Funding. Now, coming up on the rest of the show today, we're going to talk about rentals. We're going to talk about pets and rentals. We're going to talk about getting things rent ready. We're going to talk about, I didn't finish in one of the other shows that we're going to finish buyer turnoffs today. buyer turnoffs. We're going to get down and finish that subject so you can get it all contagious by just listening to shows till you get all the info. And you can go to radio.com or the Jameson Realty YouTube channel or the WBT website down and download or listen to your heart's content. We'll be right back with a show Your Real Estate Today. I'm Paul Jameson. Stay with us here on News Talk 1110 99.3 WBT. Welcome back, friends. The show Your Real Estate Today. Paul Jameson, your host with the Jameson family of companies. That's Jameson Realty, Jameson Property Management, Jameson Property Investments. Hello to you today. We are glad that you're with us. And we hope on this Saturday you're having a great day and a great time wherever you are and whatever you're doing. So let me talk to you about pets and rentals. And let me talk to you about some things I want you to think about related to that topic, because I want to make sure that you have some clarity around pets. Now, my book certainly has a lot of information about pets in it. And I'm going to talk about a couple of things from my book today, Getting the Home Rent Ready. That's chapter 4 from the book Opportunity is Knocking that I published last year. Opportunity is Knocking. You can find it on Amazon, at Amazon Prime, or you can get it directly from pauljameson.com, and I'll send you an autograph copy. Same price, pauljameson.com. All right, so pets. Accommodating a pet can make a difference. I know many of you that have rental property don't like pets in your rental houses. Doesn't mean you're not a pet, that you're a pet hater. Just means you don't want pets in your rental home. I personally, I am not a cat person, nor do I prefer cats in my rentals due to urine and other issues. Still not a hater. And I do have some rentals that have cats. But I think when you look at a rental property and you look at investment and you look at a renter, at some point, most people, not all, but most, if they come into the rental without a pet, a lot of times somewhere during the rental period, they're going to want one. Now, look. When I talk about pets here, I'm really talking about dogs and cats. I'm not talking about miniature ponies, pet pigs, monkeys. We did have a rental with a monkey. I'm not talking about iguanas. I'm not talking about, fish, goldfish. I'm talking about, let's keep it simple at dogs and cats, although the monkey stories were really kind of interesting. That's for another day. But anyhow, you kind of got to accommodate for a pet. And as an investor, know that if, like I said before, that's just going to be a part of it. So, first of all, when they come to you and they say, I have a dog, do you approve dogs? The answer, the response from you should be as follows. What type of dog? How big? How old? How many? From there, you can learn a lot of things. Typically, we like to see dogs under 40 pounds, and we like to know what the breed is. So check with your insurance company. Some insurance companies do not allow certain breeds of dogs in the home. Okay? But if they say to you, terrier, tell them to send you, in any case, a picture. Terrier means pit. And I like pits. But some insurance companies don't approve pits. I think pits are good dogs. And they're actually very, very gentle, unless they're trained otherwise. They're really, really cool. And they'll love you to death. So, again, I guess you all know I'm a really big dog guy. So, dogs for the most part are very cool with me, but you got to prepare for them. So if you go through this process and you approve the pet, then think about making sure that you make it good for the tenant and good for yourself. Like, and I know you all are going to shake your head at this, but if you've got beautiful hardwood floors in your piece of property that was built in 1920, and you don't want urine on it to have a big black kind of amoeba stain, what I've done is I've gone out and gotten luxury vinyl plank floors, and I've covered the hardwood. It's a floating floor. You can always take it back up. It's not glued to the hardwoods. There are different types of floors. I use the LVP, luxury vinyl plank. It's a floating floor. That stuff, you can spill on it. You can do a lot to it, and it's going to protect those hardwoods underneath. Okay, and it's a lot of times, you know, a carpet will last you about 3 years. This stuff lasts you a long time. So economically, if you're going to have this house for more than 3 years and rent it for more than 3 years, you may want to look at that as an alternative to carpet in many of the rooms. All right. So make sure you get that deposit right. Sometimes I'll do, if it's a bigger dog, I'll do a combination of a deposit for $250, and then I'll do a fee for $250. Doesn't mean that the maximum that you can charge the tenant is $500 for any kind of pet damage, but the fee is non-refundable. The deposit is. So it makes it more palatable for a responsible pet owner to get some money back. So instead of just charging a flat fee of $500, split it up a little bit. Give them some incentive to get some money back. It really works well. All right, next. I had a family apply just this past week to one of my rentals. The family had 3 children. Fine, I don't care. But they had 3 dogs. I did care. And they said, well, if you rent to us, we'll get rid of one of the 3 dogs. I'm like, who does that? Who gets rid of one of their dogs and watch their kids cry? You know, who does that? Because here's what I knew. I knew that if they got rid of one of their dogs and watched their kids cry, that dog was coming back. There's just no way. So when they say 3 dogs, they're going to have 3 dogs. And oh, by the way, they forgot to tell us about Fluffy, the cat. Well, I told the agent when I called him on the phone, I said, they got a cat. He goes, no, they didn't say they had a cat. I said, ask them if they have a cat. Guess what? They had a cat. You don't have 3 dogs without a cat. And you probably got goldfish, a couple of gerbils, a guinea pig, some kind of something. They got 3 kids. They got to entertain them with stuff and pets. Guess what my answer was? No. Anyway, we move on. Have a firm pet addendum. If you're going to have a pet, lock and load and make sure that your pet addendum spells out what happens. Make sure your pet addendum says, if that pet chews my sills and my door and scratches my windows and busts my screens and, you know, does stuff in the corner, that you got a way out. Same for a cat. So have a firm pet addendum. Next, on inspection, when you do your inspections, look for signs of pets that are added. People are pretty sneaky. If they say they don't have a pet, number one, they'll crank the AC so you're so frozen that you can hang meat in there when you do the inspection and you don't want to walk around. And then they hide the pet stuff. Like I found a pet bowl one time inside the washing machine. Why was I looking in the washing machine? I don't know, but I smelled pet. All right. Sure enough, they brought a puppy in. All right. Look for pets. But let me just back into this, and then we're going to go to break. And I got Patrick from Roby Services here. He's going to add some color to what's going on all this stuff. Is make sure if they come to you with a service animal or an assistance animal, you know the law and you know the rules and you know how to arm yourself. My book can give you more details on that and ways and questions and websites to ask. Again, Opportunity is Knocking, available on Amazon or at pauljamison.com. All right, coming up after the break, how to get your rental home rent ready. How to get it rent ready. Patrick from Roby is going to join me. The show Your Real Estate Today here on News Talk 1110, 99.3 WBT. Happy Saturday. Stay right with us. Howdy, howdy. Welcome back. The show Your Real Estate Today. Happy Saturday to you. We're glad that you're with us. We are excited to be spending Saturday afternoon with you. I've got Patrick from the Roby family of companies here. Hello, Patrick. Welcome.
Hey, Paul. How are you? Glad to be on the show.
Yeah, man. Glad to have you. You know, we're talking about making changes to your rental property. And in the first segment of the show, Patrick, we talked about the importance of permitting. And a lot of people think by saving just a few $100, that, it isn't going to pay any dividend against them down the road. And it really does hurt not getting that permit if you're making changes where there should be one.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. No, Paul, I can't tell you how many times we have had to go take the entire attics getting refinished, basements getting refinished, unpermitted. And essentially you're taking all the drywall down, you're redoing the entire project. So you might as well do it right on the first time, then pay for it 2 times.
Yeah.
And usually the second time is more expensive than the first time.
That's right.
Because it's not like a cut and dry deal here. So
yeah, you got a take down and a put back versus a put back.
Right.
Something like that.
And the inspection departments are our friend.
Yeah.
Right. And especially the friend of a homeowner, the friend of a contractor, all they're doing is verifying that it's done right.
Yeah. And
it's done properly. So yeah, I think that's very good advice.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen it time and time again where they want to save $300.
Yeah, I can only imagine as many transactions as you guys get through. It's very painful. It's always at the last minute.
Yeah.
It usually holds up closing.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Yeah, and it's county by county it's different, But Mecklenburg, which is where the majority of contracts come through, Mecklenburg, Union,
sure,
and in South Carolina, they want a permit, and the insurance company wants one too.
Well, and if you're not sure, my bet is go ahead and do it, or just call them. I mean, these guys, like they're wonderful down there at this office. They'll help you. They'll walk you through. Mm-hmm. They'll suggest things that you might have overlooked. So again, the permits inspections office is our best ally as contractors and as a homeowner.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
So that's great advice.
All right. So getting the home rent ready. Chapter 4 from the book Opportunity is Knocking is where you'll find even more detail on this. This is a kind of a high level overview. The very first thing, and it's the very first thing on the list, is change the locks. Simple, easy to do, use quick set. That way when you have a tenant turnover, all you got to do is get another quick set.
There you go.
It's quick, it's easy. But to change the locks, you never know who's got a key and what they're up to, or who got one, who found one, who took one, or who had one.
Oh, no.
So just change the locks. You don't want anybody standing over you in the middle of the night. All right, next, meet the neighbors. Getting your house rent ready. Meet the neighbors. Now, you're gonna think about this a little differently than the reason I do it. So as a property owner and as an investor, you certainly want to snuggle up to your neighbors and make sure that they're happy, right? And who they are and what they're about, and, but the reason I do it is I say to them, hey, I'm getting ready to put a renter in here. I want you to be assured. I'm going to take really good time to screen and get a good neighbor for you. But if you see anything or you have any problems, here's my card.
Oh, yeah.
They love that. They're like having somebody there 24/7. Oh, wait,
right.
They are there 24/7.
I'm laughing with you because I've experienced this in my own rental experience in the past. So you're exactly right.
Yeah, I got a call one time that said, Paul, your new renter that you put in there 6 months ago, he said all of the guy's stuff is out in the front yard for some reason.
Oh no.
We went over there and they had a fight, and the wife put every stitch of the guy's stuff in the front yard.
They're both on the lease too, I'm sure.
They are.
Yep.
But it was just interesting. I would have never known unless they called. So I give them my card. We have a little refrigerator magnet too that we give them, so that if they see anything of any problem, like a dog, remember the earlier part of the show, if they had a dog, you find out. All right. Also, make sure when you're getting the home ready that you're going to do a home inspection when you buy it, or you should do a home inspection if it's a house that you own to make sure there are no issues. Complete those repairs. Call guys like Roby to come out there and do your checklists.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's an easy thing to do. All right. Make the yard look great. Come on. That's an easy one, right? Get it fresh mulch because you want it back the way you give it to them. Fresh mulch, nicely cut, bushes trimmed, swept out front. It's a good first impression. Decorate around the mailbox a little bit, just like you were selling it. That drive-by impression to get the top rents make a lot of difference, right? You know, one thing in the Roby families of companies that you guys need to add, I guess we need to talk to Trent about this.
What are you talking about, landscaping?
Landscaping and also like a maid service. Can you guys add that?
We can refer
electrical, plumbing,
folks to do
handyman, maid service.
No, I see where you're going with this. But,
we're going all the way.
Let's hit roofing while we're at it.
Yeah, roof. Oh, we need
Why not? Foundation repair.
I'm there. Mold remediation.
Mold remediation.
I'm there.
Pest control.
Yeah.
No.
Well, Ivy. We're gonna stick with Ivy on that.
He's gonna make me mad. I'm gonna make him mad.
Yeah,
but,
we're gonna stick with Marty on that one.
We have mechanical, electrical, plumbing, handyman. I think we've got our hands full with those few things right now.
Well, if you think about expansion,
it's there.
There's an opportunity there.
All right, TJ, you think you could run a landscape crew?
Nope, not me.
Yeah. All right. So here's another one. All right. Besides clean it.
Yep.
Okay. This is something I learned from experience. Is don't show the property to a prospective renter until it's completely done and ready. That means light bulbs changed, cleaned, and items finished and ready to go. Do you know why?
Managing expectations would be my guess here, but
yes, what you told me you do every day, all day.
I was just thinking about that right now when you said that. No, you make a good point. I would think as an inexperienced tenant or landlord that you wouldn't think about something. What if the light bulb, as you mentioned, is too bright?
Yeah.
Or not bright enough, or this and that. So I think that's really sound advice.
Yeah, because they're going to come in there, and here's what I see happen. It's human condition, right? Same thing when you sell the house. They're going to come in and say, well, you know, you want $1,500 a month. You haven't finished these items.
Oh, yeah,
We'll give you $1,350. No. Do the items, show the property, it will rent faster. All right. So here's some interesting other things that I want to talk about. And these are things, again, that your handyman service can help with. You want to think about things that can make an impact. You want to watch your budget, of course, but you got to think about who's living there. An example is that I built some homes in Waxhaw. I have a rental in Waxhaw, and the target audience was more of a millennial.
Okay.
They care about doing things on their phone. So what I did was I gave the home some air quote smart features, like turning the lights on and off, opening the locks, controlling the thermostat, controlling indoor and outdoor lighting. Oh man, it was like cows to the slaughter. Call a home a smart home. If I'd have added a rain barrel, I'd have had Subarus lined up all the way to the center of Waxhaw. I'm telling you, think about who your audience is.
Good point.
And add things that do that. Okay. So getting more serious, things like paint. We talked about this earlier, and the right paint, lights. All right. Shades, blinds, you're going to have to add them anyway. Floor protection, like I talked about earlier. Appliances, make them nice. It'll rent faster. The front door. Do you know that the front door is the highest return item on any home? It returns 145% on investment. What do you think about that?
I did not know that.
That's pretty good, isn't it? Just think about it like you're trying to sell it. It's that same impact, and a little bit of light stagings, that always works. And Also, a couple little things. Don't let your kids live there. If you're going to rent a house, oh, wait a minute. One of my kids is living in one of mine. All right, I take that back. Try not to let your kids live there if you can. And don't let the tenants do the work. If they do that, you're in trouble. All right? And get yourself a home warranty. And Patrick and I are going to talk about that right after the break. The show Your Real Estate Today, we're having a good time. Stay with us. We'll be right back here on News Talk 1110, 99.3 WBT. Don't go away. This show Your Real Estate Today. So glad that you're with us on this beautiful Saturday afternoon, and hope wherever you are safe, happy, and enjoying your day. And we know that truly by this time that you understand that this show is about real estate. But if you just coming on now, I'm Paul Jameson. I'm the owner of the Jameson family of companies. That's realty, property management, and property investments. Here with my good friend Patrick from the Roby family of companies as well. They've got electrical, plumbing, HVAC,
GC, commercial,
yeah,
everything.
And handyman. And I'm trying to get him to open up other companies. TJ wants a brewery. You know, we're just throwing everything we can at you and Trent, and hoping that you guys just, kind of take the ball.
That brewery thing, TJ, has
the
a nice
brewery thing has a, you got the location for it.
Well, we do. We just finished up a brewery though. I don't know how much they would like it if we got into their game after finishing their product for them. But
just become a small. You okay with that, TJ?
There you go.
That works. Okay. All right. Well, at the break, we were talking about getting your rental property together, and one of the things that Patrick and I were talking about at the break is, you always have things and projects to do around the house. And what you don't want to do is chase your tail when something's busted. Yep. And all of a sudden, we know how things work. Water heaters break usually before your morning shower. Fire alarm batteries always quit at 2 a.m. Always between 2 and 4 a.m. There are things that just happen. So you want to have relationships in place ahead of time, right, Patrick?
Correct. And that's what we were talking about. I mean, in my own experiences, I have been an owner and had tenants, and it always seemed that air conditioning would go out when we're packing up the car to leave to go out of town. It's like, oh boy, what do we do now? And fortunately, in the world that I'm in, I have these relationships already, Paul. What I was telling you, or what I was saying is, many times these things happen, and it's always at the worst time. And then if you start scrambling, you don't have that relationship, you kind of get, we would never do this at Roby, but in the world, you're going to get pushed behind the person that already has a relationship with that company. And you talk about preventative maintenance. One of the things that we offer is we offer memberships to our clients, right? For the HVAC, well, we check it twice a year. And for the plumbing, we check it once a year. Even electric, we check it once a year to try to catch these things on the front side. And highly recommend those, whether you go with Roby, a lot of the other bigger companies do it as well. But that way you kind of already got your foot in the door, and it's not a scramble situation.
That's right. And I use you all. I have a whole house generator.
Correct.
And every year you all come out, you update the software. Believe it or not, a generator has software.
Oh, yeah.
And test the system, change the oil, do all the stuff, and get it ready for me.
Well, what are you buying with the generator, right? You're buying peace of mind.
Absolutely.
And if the power goes out and that generator doesn't work, then you have accountability with our company that we better get our butts out there and fix it right away.
Yep.
And we would, and we will. But if you maintain it, you don't have to worry about that.
That's right. And the neighbors get mad because then they don't have a place to go. I mean, it's pretty interesting.
Well, I'll tell you a joke. We no matter what, if the customer doesn't back up their entire house, we always back up the front porch light.
That's good to know. I'll find the door.
As a marketing person,
I'll find the door. That's right. I'll find the door, my man.
Call and get a generator.
All right. And quickly, you guys had a successful charity event, the Make-A-Wish. You did the Walk-In for Wishes. Is there a way people can still contribute to that great community event you do?
Yeah. So I'll kind of give the backstory. That it's pitching for wishes. We usually do a cornhole tournament. Obviously, with COVID and the situation going on, we didn't think that was a responsible thing to do. So we got an idea that we basically borrowed from Make-A-Wish, and they do something called the Trailblaze Challenge, which is 28.3 miles hiking through the mountains. And we said, well, we'll hike through Charlotte. and we'll visit our sponsors along the way. And I'm still sore from the 28.3.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like that, like, oh, we're just walking, but yeah, it's tough. But yeah, you can go to a Pitchin' for Wishes, there's no G, or Walkin' for Wishes. You do a Google search or pop onto walkinforwishes.org, and you can still donate. All the money goes to Make-A-Wish.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's really cool. You guys do that.
Well,
Thank
we really
you.
appreciate you kind of helping us showcase it.
I love it. I love it. All right. So we're going to switch. We're going to make a real hard 180-degree turn, and we're going to talk about top 10 buyer turnoffs while touring a home. And we've got a good amount of time, but who knows if we'll get through them all. I try this every time, so I'm going to try to finish this list.
This is like a David Letterman list.
I know, it's kind of like out on the street, and I can never get through it. You know, it's so funny that, remember when David Letterman used to go out on the street?
Oh, yeah.
And he would ask people questions. My favorite one was when he walked up to people and asked them what they would do if they found out their best friend was a Homo sapien. It was the funniest show I have ever watched in my entire life. You know, you get answers like, oh, well, I try to be understanding, and, you know, try to, you know, understand and be gentle with them. And other people go, I'm not going to be friends with them anymore. And other people would say, you know, I'd welcome them to the human race. But it was the funniest show I think I had ever seen in my life. I digress. That's why I never get through anything. TJ, you got to like hit me. You get something to hit me with it. Okay. All right, Patrick, let's see what we can do. Let's talk about the number one on the list. Odor. Top 10 buyer turnoffs while touring a home. Odor. Oh, yeah. Odor will do it every time. If you think that walking in with those little plug-in doololly thingies that you put out front, that we're going to all of a sudden have the urge to buy because you have overwhelmed us with stink from those little thingies, you're wrong. I'm highly allergic to fragrances. I mean, I literally break out. I get sick. I get migraines. It's bad. Many people have sensitivities to these things. I tell people all the time, don't put them in. You know, the whatever odor it is can't be any worse than what that's going to do to you. Or get rid of the odor. Wait a minute, that's too rational. Don't do that. Don't open the door and the windows either. It's going to be a clear sign you got a problem, especially when it's 40 degrees outside. All right, cigarette smoke, mildew, mustiness. There are companies that can come in and remediate those. There's another business idea for you. The Roby family of companies.
I'm in a lot of trouble.
Now we're going to add odor to your list. TJ, we got this.
Hey, we actually have a product called Scent Air. I wasn't going to say it.
Oh my gosh. See, I told you. Oh, all right.
Man.
Here's another
plug.
thing related to odor, but not. Pets. Okay. When I'm showing your property and I've got buyers, I don't want to deal with your animals. Some have found it appropriate to be friendly with my leg. I don't want to show a house while your pet loves on me. It's terrible, people. It is.
Happens.
It does happen.
Oh, goodness.
My favorite story, again, see, I'm only going to get through like 2 of these. My favorite story was this. I'm highly allergic to cats, as you all have heard me say before. I came in and this poor cat, I don't know what happened, but the cat was bulimic. And it had vomited in multiple places in the house. And it looked like little Christmas trees. So there was vomit throughout the first floor in little Christmas trees. So the house smelled so bad, so bad. And the cat wanted to love on me. So not only was I loved on, I dealt with an obstacle course of cat vomit.
Did it throw up on your foot?
No, it did other things to my foot.
Oh, gosh.
But don't make me deal with your pet. Please, I had a cat get out one time. No, take your pet with you. Okay, enough. All right. Just because a rodent is upside down in your house doesn't mean you should leave it there. A dead cockroach is not staging. to say you have a good pest program. Sweep it up or put it under a couch, but don't leave it there for us to enjoy and let you know that you have good pest control. See, I only got to like 3.
Those are pretty important things, though. I'll be honest.
I have others. I want to talk about popcorn sealing and people that do things with popcorn sealing. I guess we'll have to deal with that next time. Well, listen, if you want to talk to us, give us a call, 704-846-DONE, 704-846-3663, or on the web at myjamesonhomes.com. And Patrick, how do they get in touch with you if they need some help?
RobyServicesNow.com, where my cell is 704-294-1149.
Thanks for sharing some time with me, Patrick.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
And thank you, friends, for being with us on Saturday. God bless. Be safe. And we'll talk to you next week. The show, Your Real Estate Today, are on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT. Take care.